So I am going to do a proper video of what a current transition bottle rocket should actually look like in today's standards. That's still rideable on the modern trails that are designed for bigger tires. So here's a rundown. As you can see, I did it all in white and blue. And the only thing that I actually have that is fully, really heavy duty modern is these handlebars. And the only reason why I chose those is because of the fact that I couldn't find a 35 rise in any of the color schemes that I actually wanted to go with. And this is the only thing that actually had the baby blue that actually matches the anodizing a little bit. I could have went with the Chris King darker blue, but the majority of the rest of the bike is between that and a baby blue, and that is in between a baby blue and the dark anodized blue. So the fork is a Fox Float 2, I do believe. Is it a Float 2? I can't remember if it's a Float 2 or not. But when this one came out, this was basically their high tower in a 36. So it is the baddest ass fork from almost a decade ago. Everything works on it. This has been rebuilt. That whole side's been rebuilt. All the bottom seals have been rebuilt. Period correct. I have the DHX Fox, and it is 5.0. This whole mech from here all the way back is all fucking rebuilt. The reasoning for that is because of the fact that I still ride this thing. The whole bike is pretty much Chris King. So Chris King hub, Chris King hub, Chris King. Oh, wait, hold on. We can get over here, and you can barely see it because when they did the anodizing for the Chris King logo on these ones, they kind of ghosted it out. Everything else besides that, bottom bracket, the crank, and I believe, yeah, the headset. All the rest is raised face besides the OEM stock Thompson seat post. The big thing that I have on this bike that most people don't have on their current model transitions, because obviously some idiots go out and ride and they don't monitor their load on their spring. I mean, their load on their spokes. And because of that, they blew every single one of these rims up. I have Revolution rims on the front and rear. They're very hard to come by. I want to believe that they're actually uber rare. The whole drive system is all Shimano. Brake system too. I need to get some air out of that one. These have been sitting for a while. Yeah, I got a little bit of air in that one too. I did end up putting a specialized seat on it because it was the only good one that I could actually get in white. It's a carbon fiber, hollow tubed seat. The Chris King, let me see if I can get it to go. As you can hear it, it is a noisy son of a bitch. And I do believe that it's still factory in the 160 front, 180 rear on suspension. It does have one really cool fact on it. 1.5 bottom, 1.5 top. And most people actually want to put modern forks on these. And the easiest way around that is you just go in and buy basically 2 headsets. You're gonna have to get the 1.5 top, guaranteed. But this bottom is also the same size as most modern, I forgot what they call it, but the fork basically like slants out. So the bottom is technically a 1.5, but the ball bearings inside it, minus the race. The race is actually a lot larger. That'll actually fit on modern forks. Not this bottom Chris King. This bottom Chris King is designed for a 1 1/8, but it hooks into a 1.5 neck. The anything else? Oh yeah, all the spokes are all stainless steel. Better than what most people actually ran back in the day. And as you can tell, I keep them tight as hell. It's not a pretty bike, close up, but it gets the job done. And it still hangs with modern 27 pluses, and it does hang with some 29ers. It matters how good they can actually ride. The stanchions have never been replaced. But if you keep your stanchions lubed, they never, ever scar. So, and this is the other cool thing. I'm not going to take it out, but this is the extra large front axle. I mean, it's fat. Like, I literally had to re-weld a piece on one of the bike racks just for this front end. But yeah, everything works on it. I rode it all last season, and it does do the job. The whole frame I treated with a rubber protection. That's not like a sticker that's painted on there. It, like, if I rub it that way, it'll come right off, but it does prevent a lot of rock chips. The only thing that it didn't prevent was down here. That's the reason why I had to get this lizard skin. But the thing about the bottle rockets, if you're going to be buying one used, is if they let this shock go and it creates either gas or oil goes into the cylinders where air is supposed to be, or vice versa, you get a nasty kick from the shock. Also, if the bearings are not well kept, it only takes you 2 seconds to pop these fuckers out at the end of the season or mid-season and repack them and then put them back in. Hell, you can even do them while they're inside there. You don't even have to fucking pull them out. You just have to pop the dust caps off and just push some grease in there. Spin them a couple times, clean it up, push the grease back in there. People don't do that. These lock up. This one locks up primarily a lot. And the bottle rockets usually tend to snap right here or right here. And rarely they do snap down here. But I would check these locations on both sides, because they tend to end up cracking like right around the welds. And it's not because of transitions build structure of it. It's because of the fact that the owner is not greasing this bearing or that bearing, and the bearings are locking up. Primarily, basically, it's just those two bearings. But if you're going to be greasing these two sets of bearings, then you might as well be greasing all the bearings in itself. It's not really hard to maintain a vintage bike, and I consider this a vintage bike. It's not 20 years old yet, but in modern spec, it was cutting edge back in the day for free ride. And the reason why this is a bike that a lot of people actually want is because this was their ticket into mountain biking when they were getting out of BMX. Hence the reason why the Transition name. The owners of Transition, if I do believe the stories are correct, they began to free ride because of the fact that they discovered mountain biking after doing street BMX for a long period of time. And this bike on the right trail and in the right conditions is actually really fun. It hangs air, and if you have the shocks all set up properly, the rear end doesn't kick, which is a problem with the that kind of link. The longer the link, the more movement you get and the slower the kickback is. The problem with this link is because it's so short, when you go up in air or when you're landing, if you have your shock set up for free ride in some scenarios and you're doing big air after you've done a long set of, tiny stuff in a rhythm section or in a flow trail, and you hit some big stuff, that's not tuned for it, and it'll kick this thing back real fast. And next thing you know, the bike is landing on its front. It does like this last second kick out. It happened to me like 2 times last year, which, by the way, it scared the crap out of me. When you're landing on your front wheel and you're riding an endo out for over 100 feet trying to get the rear back down, because remember, you can't put your brakes on. All you can do is body weight. And your body is trying to tell you to balance out that front, and it's not trying to tell you to kick backwards to actually make the rear wheel come back down. So it's a lot to overcome when you're in that situation. Other than that, these are still rideable to this day. And most people are buying them and just putting them up on the wall. I store mine on the wall, but it's not wall art. I store it on the wall because it's a little tiny apartment. It's only like 1,200 square feet, so it's like every bit of space matters. The big thing is when you're dealing with higher end purchases in mountain bikes, and or if you're into the game of keeping old bikes alive, is not to store them in your garage. You need to store them inside in climate control. That bike needs to be 70 degrees. If it's like 65, it doesn't really matter. If it's above 70, it doesn't really matter. But if it starts freezing, everything goes wrong with them. And most people wonder why basically everything is basically falling apart on their bike, and it's because of the fact that primarily the majority of these people store all these like $9,000 bikes in their garage. It's just stupid. But that is my Transition bottle rocket. And I just realized that I did this whole video with the camera in an upright noob position. Damn. So let me see if I can get it to flip. Did it? No, I don't know. Well, whatever. Anyways, that's it.